Hello and welcome to Trotec Academy. In this module we will go through the material parameters and material effects. The material parameters and effects determine how the laser is going to process the defined material. The material is selected in the prepare screen before you cue or push your job to laser. To select material, click on the drop-down arrow in the material section. Select a material either by scrolling down the list or by a search. Once the material effect has been selected, you will see the material effects. And by clicking on the arrow next to the effect, you will see the predefined parameters from the material database. Sometimes you might want to modify these parameters. Basic values can be changed and saved directly on this screen. If the user has permission to edit materials, they are able to store the changes, either by overwriting the existing parameters or save as a new material. If the users do not have permission, they can still do the changes, but these changes will only be applicable to the current job. The information here indicates if the job parameters differ from the values in your local material database. You have the possibility to reset the parameters to default by clicking on Reset. This only works if the box here states Material Data Modified. If you, for example, change a parameter and then select Overwrite Existing, you can no longer reset it to what it previously was, as the parameters for this material has been updated. If you wish to create new materials or add new material effects, you will have to enter the materials list. You have access to the material database via the Prepare screen by clicking here or to use the main menu and select Materials. If a user has permission, they can do changes here. Otherwise, they do have access but cannot do any changes. On this screen, you can search for existing materials in the Search Material field. Ruby will find materials that have these search terms in the material name or in the tags. By clicking on the material in the list, the parameters and effects assigned to this material are displayed on the right-hand side of the screen. First, there is a name of the material and the creation date. The name can be changed by clicking on the pen. You can decide whether you want to save the new name or save the material as new. Ticking in the favorite icon on a specific material sets the material as default on the Prepare screen. This means that whenever you add jobs or designs to the Prepare screen, the favorite selected material is assigned automatically. However, if a job already has saved parameters and effects, it will not apply. Be aware that there can only be one material set as favorite at a time. In this field, you can add tags to cluster and categorize materials. Remember that tags are considered when searching for materials. Tags can, for example, be material thickness, the optimum length for this material, or the name of the owner of the materials, etc. Whatever helps you to find or cluster the materials can be used here. Underneath the tags, you have the list of all the effects that have been assigned to this material, including the laser parameters. It shows you whether a layer which has a defined color is being engraved or cut. Next to this, you see power and speed used to process this specific material. The next column shows the resolution used for engraving. This value is defined by dpi or dots per inch. For cutting, you need to define the frequency, which is indicated in Hertz. A more detailed explanation about what these values mean is explained in the Help Center on troteclaser.com. Source indicates which laser source of your machine that shall be used for this material. This is particularly important when you own a Speedy Flex, which has both a CO2 and a fiber laser included. You can find detailed information about how to use SpeedyFlex in the Help Center as well. The advanced material parameters are shown by clicking on the arrow. We will explain the use of these parameters and values in a separate module. To add new material effects, click on the Effect List button and choose one of the effects. It is important to know that each effect can only be added once per material. However, you can easily create new effects by clicking on the plus sign, entering the name and the process and then clicking OK. This will save the effect and you can now see it in the effects list. You are now able to add the effect to the material and assign parameters to it. The effect mask is explained in detail in the Help Center on troteclaser.com. You can delete an effect by clicking here and then delete. Finally, you can rearrange the order of the effects with a drag and drop action. Your Trotec laser machine will always start the job from the top and move downwards. However, you cannot place an engraving process below a cutting process. To add new materials, there are 3 options. With Add New Material, you manually create a new material by adding the material effects and the parameters yourself. Once you are done, click on Save. If it should be forgotten, you will be asked before you leave the screen. With Import from Cloud, Ruby checks for new materials that are available in the cloud and imports them. On the right, you will get information if new material has been imported or not. This is only possible if your laser machine is connected to the internet. Finally, you can also import materials that have been saved on your computer or network, and you can export and delete materials. If you should have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us or visit the Ruby Help Center on troteclaser.com.